Hey, this is Dex with a new addiction, and you're listening to Disaster on the Brutally Delicious podcast.
So, anyway, how are you doing today, man, now that we got all this mess out of the way?
I'm doing very well, man. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Where are you at? You out west?
No, I'm actually in the Midwest.
Oh, so you're dealing with all this heat right now?
It is. It's warm here for sure.
Breaking records, I saw.
Humidity-wise, probably. Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, we could just jump right into a new addiction if you want. Parting from 3 Years Hollow, or separate from 3 Years Hollow, how did this a new addiction come about?
Yeah, so I had a bunch of arrangements that I've kind of put together from different riffs and licks that I've written over like the past decade, and I started just kind of putting them in song form and arranging them as pretty much as rock songs, but I wrote everything on the bass guitar. So it was a lot of material that I couldn't really use in like 3 Years Hollow or some of the other projects I was in. And yeah, one day I was actually talking to Jose Urquiza, the singer for 3 Years Hollow, and I'm like, hey man, I've got some of these arrangements, and of course he knows what I can do already, and he's like, all right, well, let's see some stuff, and started playing a song. He's like, dude, we got to record some of this and get some of this content out there, and that was actually a different song. It wasn't the single I just released. It was actually a song called Fishtail. So him and I spent like a couple hours in the studio one day and tracked all the bass, and then we put some sampled drums to it, just using a program on Pro Tools.
Right.
And right away we were like, okay, we're like, this is going to be super cool. We need to get real players in here to play on this. So the first drummer that popped in our head, of course, was Morgan Rose, because Jose and I have both had a relationship with Morgan since around 2011. He was the A&R guy for Imagine Records, still is, and Imagine signed 3 Years Hollow back in 2013. So I've just known Morgan forever, and we get along really well, and he's just always been really supportive of me and kind of talked me up, so he was out of the studio one night, and we were like, hey man, we got a song, we can check it out, we want you to play on it. He listened to it, and he's like, hell yeah, I'll play on it. And he went in the drum room for maybe an hour and just laid down some killer drums. We sat in the mixing room, and we just kind of looked at each other and just kind of smiled the whole time, because we knew it was going to be something super, super cool. And that's pretty much how we got, I guess, to that point. I had never really anticipated or had any intentions of it, turning into this big project and releasing a single and stuff like that. But I guess we can talk about that as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's Disaster was out on June 4th, I believe, was the date it came out, right?
Correct, yes.
And what's been the response to it so far? Has it been pretty good?
It's been really good. It debuted on Spotify really, really well. And, for an artist brand new artist with one song, it did really, really well. And it's still continuing to do well. I've done probably 30 interviews, the past couple weeks.
Right.
So a lot of people are interested in it. I know that there's some good names on it, and it's a unique song, and it's just a little bit different. The approach to recording was different than your conventional.
And was that due to the pandemic?
Well, so all these songs I wrote on the bass guitar, so we tracked bass first on everything, which is a little bit different than you would generally do your typical recordings. So basically, yeah, these are songs they're really bass and drum driven. Those were the first two instruments recorded, and then we had no preconceived idea of what guitars were even going to sound like. We're just like, all right, let's bring a guitar player in and just kind of let him, noodle around a little bit, and we'll pick stuff that sounds cool. So yeah, I mean, we built the songs as we, added different instruments to them. So it was cool to see them just kind of come to life. Normally you have like a guitar player and a vocalist. That's kind of how you get the melodies and write the songs and stuff like that. So this was a little bit different. It was a lot of fun for sure.
I don't think I've ever really talked to anyone who's used that approach of writing on the bass. Is that something you've normally done, or is that something you did for this record?
Just for this, yeah. I mean, these songs, it's a lot of all the songs are. I mean, they're slapping or tapping the bass, and it's different. It's fun to watch in a live setting as well, too. Because you don't see a lot of these techniques being played, and kind of these songs. They are a little bit different, but they're also kind of in the vein of active rock. They're all 3.5 minutes long, and they're all pretty standard rock formula.
Right.
But there's just some different bass tones in there and some different noises you don't normally hear.
So I was reading in the bio, this is a project based on like addictive personalities and your addictive personalities. How does it make you feel? It's a 2-part question. How does it make you feel when you put that out there? Does it make you feel super vulnerable? And did you question whether you should put that out there, or?
No, absolutely not. I mean, people that know me, know the type of person I am. I'm involved in like a lot of other trades and stuff, and I'd say the notoriety from music has definitely helped me in a lot of other areas in my life. But I mean, you'll talk to a lot of musicians who will tell you the same thing, man. If they're not playing music, they're out doing stupid shit, or
right.
they're, it's real common, and some people, addiction, it doesn't necessarily have to be drugs. I mean, it could be, you're addicted to, going out and hanging out with different girls every night, or going to the bar. There's the bad side of it, but there's also the good side. I mean, you can be addicted to, to jogging or eating healthy. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with, we don't call it an addiction when you're doing those things on a regular basis, but it really is, because it becomes something that you constantly need in your life, and without it, you feel, you almost feel lost. So, I've kind of been, I think of different ways to kind of, talk about this as I do these interviews. But man, my thing is, it's a positive thing, 100%. I don't have, any major issues or battles that I fight with these days. But throughout the years, there's been some things that I've had to get away from, and music was always there to kind of guide me, I guess, because I knew that that's ultimately what I wanted to do, and someday I was going to be at the top of the game. So
I find that when I talk to a lot of musicians, especially about this topic, that getting it out there is cathartic. Putting all that's in your head into the songs is super cathartic. Do you find that as well?
I do. I'm a performer, I think, above anything else. The recording and writing to me is more, I just come up with cool stuff that sounds cool to me. I don't really, have whole arrangements that I work out, daily. It's usually just a couple riffs, and if I like something, then I'll start working off that. But, so the recording, I like it, it's fun. But man, I just, I'm a performer, and I love to be on stage, and
right.
I love that energy with the crowd and stuff.
So we'll stick with this for 1 second, then I'll move into the next question. But along those same lines, do you have you must have people that come up to you and say, "Hey, this song has connected with me on a different level than just listening to it with the radio blasting in my car. It's got to connect on an emotional level as well, right?"
Man, yeah, I've had a lot of people say that. Even I interviewed with Jai, the Aussie metal guy, and the first thing he said, he's like, "Man," he's like, "I've listened to this 6 times in a row because it just really connected with him." So lyrically and the music as well. He's like, the music, is just badass, and then you got those lyrics to go with it. He's like, it's just a really well put together piece of music.
Okay, what's the plan to take this out on the road? Is there any plans at all? I know you're things are starting to open up, and
yeah. So, well, I play in 3 Years Hollow as well, and we've got some touring plans later this summer and fall. I think with A New Addiction, my plan right now is just to kind of keep pushing this single for a while. I'm going to start doing some live playthroughs and just some cool stuff to get. Like I said, I want to get the visual side of it out there too. Because it's just as interesting to watch as it is to hear.
Right.
So I think that's going to be pretty cool when I start doing that. But as far as A New Addiction touring, Morgan Rose is obviously busy. Seven Dust is going to be booked the entire year. So
yeah,
I don't think he would, if I do put the live machine together, I don't think it'll be this year, but I would like to see that happen, soon. But I will probably find, some other players for the live machine that will have the time to dedicate to it. So
looking forward, sorry, go ahead.
No, but yeah, I mean, I really want to play these songs live because they're badass.
Yeah. So looking forward, are you planning on following the new model? Because I think the music business has taken on sort of a new model now, right? It's singles every month to 6 weeks or something, rather than the full-length record or an EP. Is that the plan then, to just release another single?
Yeah, so I don't know. I think, we might do maybe one more single. I'd have to talk. I'd probably talk to my manager about that, but I think we'll probably ride this disaster thing out for at least a couple months because it's just a little bit different than a lot of the other stuff that's out there that's coming out right now. So I'll probably give it a little bit longer, but yeah, I'd say 6 to 8 week cycle on a single is pretty much, standard. But I have plans to release the EP later this fall. So that's my goal, is late fall. I'll have probably 6-song EP for everyone, and most of the material is already recorded, so it's not anything that's going to be out of the question. So.
How do you see the music business panning out? Because obviously it has to reinvent itself after all of this nonsense. You think that's going to be the new model, the one single instead of the full length record with the artwork and the liner notes and all that stuff?
Well, it seems to be the way a lot of bands are going now, and I've talked about this in a couple other interviews. My personal opinion is, if you're a new artist, I would record a few songs. I would pick one that you think is the best, and maybe some other people whose opinions you value, agree, and then pick one, release it as a single, kind of see what happens. If the sound catches on, or if it's something that, a direction you want to continue to go down, then you already have a pretty good idea, of the response to that. So then you can gauge, man, if you want to do, a 4 or 5 song EP or
right,
a full length record. I mean, if you're going to do a full length, I would hope that you would have, some sort of money, financial backing behind you with a label, maybe, because it just gets really expensive to do that. So I would say, if you're a new artist, record 2 or 3 songs, pick one, do a single, see if it's going to be something that pops off. And if it is, then you kind of got a product.
Right.
And then market it, then start thinking about your EP. I would probably do an EP for a new artist. and rather than 10 to 12 songs or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's different, and maybe it's because I'm old school and dating myself. But I miss the days of the, coming going to the record store, picking up the full thing where it was sequenced purposefully, and everything was, there was artwork and there were liner notes, and I wanted to see where it was written and who recorded it and who produced it and whatever. That whole art form is gone, I think, because we're just into singles now.
Man, I agree with you 100% on that. And I just talked about this with someone else. Yeah, it used to be, you released an album, then you picked the single,
Right.
off of that album, or what was going to be the first single, the second single, or whatever. And yeah, times have definitely changed. I would say the last 5 or 6 years, even more so than even the last 10 to 15 years. But yeah, it seems like the single's kind of the way to go, and I guess I don't really, I can't say if that's a good or bad thing. I think it's working for a lot of artists right now. So
Yeah, I guess I'm just old school, and that's what I was used to. And it was a whole ritual of going to the record store on Tuesday and picking it up and listening to the way you recorded it and sequenced it.
Right. Oh, fuck yeah, man. I miss that too, for sure.
So, we get kids like my son who just want the one song and they don't have it. They have attention span of gnats, and then the whole thing has sort of morphed into a music business that I don't even recognize.
It is, man, it has changed so much. And it's kind of one of those things you have to accept, or just live in the past.
Yeah,
And
right.
yeah, I mean, really, it is. I've talked about this with other people too, and it's like, well, what do we do? And it's like, well, we just fucking accept it and keep pressing forward, because that's really the only choice.
That is the only choice, right? But I guess I'm going to go begrudgingly because I still like the. I have that in me still, so I'm the old cooter in the back of the room.
No, I'm with you all the way, man.
Did I miss anything that you wanted to cover? I know we talked about your new single coming out, road stuff.
I just want to talk about just the people that have been helping me put this whole thing together. I'd like to, the guy that Justin Taylor from Auburn came in and played guitar and did some vocals on Disaster, and he's a good friend of mine and a really good player. So I want to make sure that he gets the recognition that he deserved, because I mean he was as much involved with the writing as I was,
right?
And just came in and gave it 100%. So yeah, man, and then like Sean O'Donnell, she's been doing a great job for me.
Great.
Yeah, my manager Tom Baumgartner, he's awesome. Jose Urquiza, the singer for 3 Years Hollow, he produces all my stuff. He owns the Attic Studio in Genesee, Illinois. So if you're a new artist and you're looking for direction and people that know what they're doing and that can get you to the places you want to be, that's a good place to start. 3 Years Inc., Tom Baumgartner, they're just doing good things, man, and producing a lot of good bands right now. So
awesome. Thank you for taking the time, man. Have a great day. Be safe.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Cheers, my friend. Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Awesome. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you taking the time and being so honest.
Yeah, thanks.
Be well.
Cool
I'll send
chat.
you that link tonight.
Thank you. Okay, cheers.
Be safe.
Bye.
Ever wonder what a punch from Elton John feels like?
Or how you'd cope with having turned down the chance to be in Nirvana?
Or what signal Keith Richards gives when he wants you to get the hell out of his hotel room?
Fans of Too Much Effing Perspective don't have to wonder, because they've heard these exact stories and a jillion others on our podcast. I'm Alex Hoffman, former tour manager for Radiohead.
And I'm musician and comedy writer Alan Keller. On the TMEP show, we get guests like Nancy Wilson from Heart, Jeremiah Freites from the Lumineers, and Modern Family's Julie Bowen to tell us things they may have only shared with their therapist, clergy, or a TMZ stringer.
So join us on Too Much Effing Perspective. That's EFFING Perspective. The only podcast you crank up to 11.